losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose, what do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief.
So since my last video, I've gone ice fishing twice, and I've been skunked both times. And this ice fishing season has not been going so good for me. I mean, I could drop down to like a 1/16 or like a 1/32 ounce jig head with just a little piece of worm, like a wax worm on that, and then catch some bluegill, some yellow perch, stuff like that. But that's not really fun for me. That's kind of fun to fill in the gaps between the bigger fish. But when I go out fishing, both open water and ice fishing, I try to catch the biggest, baddest fish in that lake or pond. Typically, I'm using like 4 or 5 inch shiners. I actually sometimes use like 5-inch suckers for bass. But what a better way to cheer up than a box. And I picked up this box from Tackle Warehouse probably about a month ago. I just never got around to showing you guys yet. But I figured now is a perfect time to go through what I bought at Tackle Warehouse. Now in this box I have a few of my favorite brands like Maxscent, Megabass, Jackall, and a couple of new things. Who's texting me at a time like this? But first, real quick before we get into this unboxing, as promised, my last unboxing video, I said I was going to give away this limited edition Megabass lure. And that's what I'm going to do today. So Dave Radigan, you are the winner of this lure. You just have to hit me up at my email, nateandersh93@gmail.com, or my Instagram at nateandersh. And if you guys don't know, I give away a limited edition Megabass lure every single month. One more thing too. This is a sneak peek of the next limited edition lure color. But without further ado, let's just get right into the unboxing, and we're going to be starting out with one of my favorite soft plastics. Last year especially, it really saved my butt sometimes when I just couldn't get a bite with anything else. And that is the Berkley Maxscent flatworm. I really love this bait. I put this thing on a drop shot or a Ned rig. Either works very well. And this isn't just like an ordinary flatworm. I don't know exactly when, but Berkley released a bigger size of the flatworm. But this flatworm is 4 1/4 inches. So this is like the perfect little Ned rig bait, or like a little drop shot bait. And even if you wanted to, you could trim off a little bit of the head and use this as like a finesse jig trailer. That would work super well. Color is called Gobiyashi, which is basically just a green pumpkin top with a pearl belly and purple, orange, and black flake in it as well. If my camera would focus, there we go. So I had to pick up 2 packages of these. So I'm just gonna keep continuing with the soft plastics. These are my favorite jig trailers, I think, of all time, as of like 6 months ago. This is the Gary Yamamoto Flappin' Hog, and I picked up 2 packages of these. That's purple with emerald flake, it's called. And then the other package is watermelon, copper, orange with red flake. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw this purple color on Tackle Warehouse, I thought it was a little bit darker, but nonetheless I still really like this color. And then this is the watermelon copper orange with red flake. I really like this one. This one has like a 2-tone color. It's green pumpkin on top, then that belly is just a bright orange. And in some places in my area, that's exactly what color the crawfish are on the underside, is like this bright orange color. So I thought this was just a perfect little imitation of that. Plus I like these little dangly things too. And actually, I'm not the one who found this on my own. I was going through YouTube videos and I came across Greg Blanchard's channel, and I saw him throw this on a jig once, and that jig looked amazing. I had to try it for myself, so I did, and I caught a bunch of nice fish, largemouth and smallmouth. Not quite sure the size of these. They're either 3.5 or 4 inches. I think they're 4 inches. Now moving on to one of my favorite companies, Jackall. Now this is the Sasuteki Craw, and this is the 5-inch size. And I picked them up in 2 colors. This is green pumpkin candy, and this one is black and blue. And the reason why I picked these up, I wasn't really looking to buy them, but when I noticed they were on sale, I definitely had to at least try them. Now, as you guys can tell, this bait is pretty big. So when I first bought this bait, I really thought that I was going to be using it as a jig trailer, but that's just not going to happen given its size. I could trim it up, but these claws are just still like 2.5, 3 inches on their own. So I'm gonna go with plan B. I already kind of thought ahead. If 5 inches was too big, I was gonna use this as kind of like a flipping bait. So I already kind of planned ahead, so I'm not gonna be using these as a jig trailer as originally thought, but still I'm gonna be putting these to good use as kind of like a flipping bait. And this is the green pumpkin color. And you want to separate those claws, and when you throw this, well, what I'm going to do is really pitch it. This is going to go straight down, and with the slender profile, these craws will do a nice little kick on the way down, and I won't get hung up like in the lily pads, the grass, the milfoil, stuff like that. Alright, so those were it for the soft plastics. Now I'm going to be moving on to the hard baits. I didn't buy a lot of hard baits, but what I bought I'm actually pretty excited for. This company here, Boogerman Lures, was actually suggested to me by somebody who watches my videos. And when he told me to try out a Boogerman buzzbait, I thought that was a great idea, because I'm in the market for a good buzzbait. I had some pretty good success on it last year fishing a pond, and that kind of upped my confidence a little bit, so I kind of wanted to branch out to a few different companies to try some out. And that being said too, if you guys want to see me try out any like certain lure, just comment it down below, and more than likely I will end up picking it up and using it. Now this buzzbait here is a 1/4 ounce, and the color is called bubblegum pink. And when I saw this bright pink buzzbait, I had to buy it. This color isn't necessarily going to catch the most fish or the biggest fish, but it definitely caught me. I just thought this pink color in the springtime for smallmouth, largemouth is going to be super fun to fish with. And if you guys kind of want like a hard clacking buzzbait, you can bend this wire more 90 degrees right there, and that'll make it clack up against the head. But if you wanted to as well, you could bend that blade up a little bit, and then you just kind of get the squeaking of that across the top of the water. So it's really what you want to do. Now when I place an order online, I can't help myself but to buy some Megabass Vision 110s, and I wanted to pick up another matte color. And this color is called Matte Deadly Black. And what I mean by matte is not shiny. I thought this color was super cool. I don't know if my camera's picking it up, but this black and gray color reflects the purple as well. And this bait here weighs 1/2 ounce. It's suspending, and it'll dive all the way down to 6 feet. But that 6 feet is kind of varies. It really depends on the line you use or how you bring it back to you. You can get this bait down to 8 feet if you want, or you could fish it up in 2 feet if you wanted to. And I had to pick up another one. Now this color is usually out of stock when I go looking for it. This color is called Secret Grape. And this color is kind of like a morning dawn color. It goes from like dark blue to pink on the side to white on the bottom. I thought this color was super cool when I saw it. But this is what the bait looks like close up. Now I got into jerkbait fishing pretty heavily last year, and I've become pretty particular on what rod I'm gonna be using for jerkbaits from here on out. I used to just think really any medium power rod would work, and that is kind of technically true. You can use any medium rod and that will catch you some fish. Even a medium heavy rod will catch you some fish. But with treble hook baits in general, you really want to use a rod that's gonna bend a lot. If you use a stiff rod, the bass or whatever fish you're fishing for has a chance just to pull out the treble hook baits. A rod with a nice bend will actually kind of fight the fish for you. Now this is my jerkbait rod that I absolutely love and I will not replace. Hopefully I can keep this combo for the rest of my life. This is a Shimano Metanium and a Megabass Destroyer Automat rod. I think that's how it's pronounced. Right there. Automat. But the reason why I decided to use 20-pound line to begin with is because one, there are a ton of pickerel where I live in New Hampshire. So having that thicker fluorocarbon really helps me protect against their teeth. And two, the jerkbait I absolutely love using the most is a Vision 110, and anybody who fishes a Vision 110 knows the stock hooks are pretty light wire. So if I ever got this Vision 110 snagged up anywhere, I really wanted the ability just to yank it out and just bend out the hooks before I lost my bait. But now that I'm just getting better with accuracy and my drag, I really feel confident bumping down to that 13-14 pound line and I still be good. Moving on. Got the sticker because I spent over 50 bucks. And moving on to one of my favorite jig companies, Beast Coast. Now in New Hampshire, lead jigs are illegal under an ounce, so I always have to go with Tungsten. Not that I'm really upset about that or anything. I kind of like Tungsten anyway because you get the same weight as lead but in a smaller, more compact profile, and it's more sensitive. Tungsten banging off rocks on the bottom, you can feel that way easier than say a lead jig banging off the bottom. And I got 3 different colors. I got Stealth Pumpkin. This one is called Sexy Texan, which I really like. I'll be taking that one out of the package. And then this one is Dirtbag, which is just a brown and black. Now this is Beast Coast's Tungsten Finesse Dragging Jig. So you're not going to have like a big beefy hook, which is perfectly fine for me. I'm alright with that as long as I know the hook isn't the strongest. I know that I'm just gonna have to play the fish that much more. But this is one of my favorite colors. The skirt is like pumpkin, green pumpkin and black, but I really like that touch of that little tinsel. And I don't know if all the jigs by Beast Coast have them, but the jigs that I've purchased all have this tinsel, and I think that is super cool. But moving on to a new company I've never used before. This is Swagger Tungsten, and I needed to restock on my chartreuse Ned heads. And this is the Flanders Ned head by Swagger Tungsten. And like I said, I bought it because I needed to restock on some chartreuse jig heads. And this jig head here is 1/6 of an ounce, if my camera would focus, there we go. Which is like the perfect weight in my opinion, because I like to fish kind of deeper water, like that 20-foot range, and I fish a lot of rivers. So in that kind of heavier current, I really like a slightly heavier finesse Ned head. And that is exactly what this Ned head is from Flanders. And I really like, even though it's a small jig head here, this hook is nice and stiff. I'm gonna have no issues bending this out with the gear that I use. I don't even think this will flex the way I fish a Ned rig. But I'm just super happy with how strong that hook is. I didn't realize how heavy wire that was until I bought it, but super happy with this purchase. And actually the flatworms I bought, I'm gonna be pairing that up with these jig heads. Dang it. So this actually is gonna be one of the first baits I tie on this year once we get ice out in my area. Unfortunately, we're not gonna have ice out for another month, but I can hope. And I ended up picking up 3 packages, and I am definitely glad I did. I do not regret that purchase at all. But that is it for this unboxing, and I just want to say congratulations to Dave Radigan for winning the crankbait. I know this might sound a little weird, but I think I'm most excited to try out the new Ned rigs. And not only do I do unboxings from Tackle Warehouse, I also do unbaggings from like Dick's Sporting Goods, Bass Pro Shops, and I do a lot of Japanese unboxings from the Hookup Tackle as well. I actually love the Hookup Tackle, that's my favorite fishing store. But I come out with videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really do appreciate it. Peace.